Hello, world. We are live. Okay, let me get this chat fixed because I can't see the chat. Let's see. All right, chat is visible in a new window, luckily. This live stream thing has been weird on my Google browser. I don't know if this is the same for you guys, but it's kind of weird that it's not working properly on Google Chrome. But anyway, we are here. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me and all that good stuff. Let me know, and we're going to have a blast. As always, we're going to have a blast on the channel. Say hi in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me, that you can see me, that you can smell me. Hoi, hoi, William Theory. Hoi, hoi. Can you hear me? Is my voice audible? Check, check, chickity check. Hey, Brad, thumbs up. Am I active? Am I clearly audible? Am I hey William, je bent Nederlands. Goedenavond. Nice. Right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, you early birds. Seems like the microphone is clipping a bit, at least to me. Could be. I don't know. I can turn down the gain a little bit. Maybe this is a bit better. I don't know. Either way. Thanks for the suggestion, William. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Let's get the questions going. And before we start with the questions and the banter and the talks, I'm just gonna talk about this very cool little pedal. Check this guy out. This is a pedal by a company called Sunless Effects. You can I don't know if you can read it on this webcam, but it says here Sunless Effects. And the guy who runs this company was kind enough to send me this pedal all the way from Taiwan, or Taiwan, or however you pronounce that. And this is basically a sort of preamp or amp in a box. And I'm going to do a review demo video on this thing very soon. And this thing is basically based on a mat amp. I forgot the number, the model number, mat amp something 120. And those are like amps that a lot of stoner and doom players like to use. And this thing sounds absolutely awesome. I was really surprised when I hooked this up. And what makes this pedal so cool is that it's so versatile, because there are some very cool controls on this little thing, like the depth control over here, which has 6 notches. And when you turn it all the way up, it sounds very fat and full with a very big low end with a lot of saturation in the low end. And then when you turn it up, it gets a lot skinnier and more tight. So that makes it a very versatile drive preamp overdrive distortion pedal all in itself. But the way that the controls react and interact is also very, very great. And it has a very nice gain range, so it can go from light crunchy tone all the way up to super high gain. And you can make it sound very fuzzy and gooey, or kind of Marshall Plexi-ish. So it's really amazing. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. And you guys can expect a demo from this pedal on my channel very soon. Do check it out. I hope you enjoy it. And it's a small little company. You know, it's a cool, very talented pedal builder, I think. So check out his website, Sunless Effects, because he makes some awesome pedals. And this is definitely one of them. This is called Cold Lands by Sunless Effects. So yeah, shout out to those guys. Cool. So let's see if we can get the questions going. Tilburg South here. Tilburg. Awesome. I spent a lot of time in Tilburg years ago with my old band, because our old rehearsal space used to be in Tilburg. I forgot the name of the street, but it was somewhere in the let's see, the southeast of the city center, somewhere around there. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Hello from Germany, Mr. Coatsworth. Hello from Holland. Guten Abend. You're a neighbor. Xander asks, is it possible to have 2 amps going through one cab at the same time? Good question. I have not really ever done anything like that myself. Of course, in the virtual world, anything is possible, but with real cabinets, I guess you would have to have something like a stereo cabinet with 2 separate inputs, and then just make sure that the impedance is properly matched and that you're not blowing your speakers. You have to make sure that the wattage of your speakers can handle the wattage of the amplifier, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it should be doable. I guess. Why not? Look into stereo cabs, I guess. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. I'm probably not the best person to answer that question, but thank you for asking. Let's see. William, question 1. Your favorite and most versatile lunchbox amp? Engl Fireball 25 or PRS MT15 or, well, I actually made a video on this, which I'm going to post somewhere in the coming weeks. I've made like 14 videos already that I still need to post. And that is one of them. And it's basically about my top 5 lunchbox amps for metal. So that's for metal. So it's not necessarily about versatility. So let me know if you're looking for a metal amplifier or just an amplifier that's for any genre. Let me know, because then I can answer your question a little bit better, I think. All right, let's carry on and let me know in the comments specifically what you're looking for. All right, Blends Official. What is the difference between a 7-string baritone versus a 9-string besides the extra strings? All right, interesting question. Well, it's basically the same thing, but with more strings, depending on the model. I mean, if you compare like my 9-string over here to one of my 7-string baritones, they will be different because the 7-string baritones that I have, the ESP LTD ones, have neck-through designs, and they use other body woods, and they have a different type of construction, and etc. But I mean, if they made this guitar, the 9-string, let me just grab this here because it's an awesome beast. Let me just, I want to turn my lights on the same color, or it's gonna make me go nuts. Yeah, so if they made this guitar into a 7-string, then it would basically be a 7-string baritone. The only difference is that it has 9 strings and it has a really thick, huge neck, but it's the same thing. Yeah. But of course, it depends on the model and the brand and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so coming back to William's question, looking for a metal amplifier, Black Death, Doom, thinking of a lunchbox setup. All right. Well, I can try to answer your question, and I will do that again in the video that I just mentioned with the top 5 metal amplifiers, lunchbox amplifiers. But the main question that I always ask back is, what is the sound that you like? Because some people like a very, fat, saturated tone, like an orange, for example. Other people don't like orange amps. They prefer more tighter and more fierce amplifiers because, for example, an engl amplifier is much more tight and fierce with a more cutting mid-range, whereas the orange amplifiers have a more of a broad, fat distortion tone, if I'm making sense. So it kind of depends on your taste. However, without giving away too many spoilers, I should say, the engl Fireball 25, that is down here, is one of the best lunchbox amplifiers for metal, definitely. However, if you're on a budget and if you need something like very versatile and more affordable and with a great tone, the 6505 MH, you can't really go wrong with that amp because it's really awesome. Thanks for the question. And guys, keep the questions coming. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. And drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop your comments, as that really helps the channel out and also this live session. Okay, so Mr. Coatsworth with the new Maiden song out. What's your favorite Maiden album? Great question. That's something that varies. But I think that well, lately I've been really enjoying like the newer albums post reunion where Bruce and Adrian came back to the band and stuff. But back in the day, Power Slave definitely was my favorite album because it was so influential to me. Like the way that it's produced and all the guitar harmonies and all that stuff is just incredible. However, Somewhere in Time and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son have become favorites of mine as well because of that sound with the synthesizers and the the 80s guitar sound with the chorus and stuff. So those three albums, like Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, and Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, those three are like the best for me. But then again, I also really enjoy their newer stuff because it's so progressive and different and live, and they're trying things. I actually have a video coming up that's like an underrated gem review of The Final Frontier, which I've been listening to a lot recently. So I really enjoyed that album as well. So it depends on my mood and all that stuff. But if I'd have to pick one, I'd pick three: Power Slave, Somewhere in Time, and Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. Thanks for the question. What's your favorite Maiden album? Let me know. William, what band did you used to play in Tilburg? That band was called Intwine. That was my old band. Looking forward to that top 5 lunchbox amp video. Yeah, man. I hope it's going to be useful and fun. Cheers for the answer. We'll look into the peavey lunchbox one too. Yeah, it's a great amplifier. It has some great tones in it, and it also sounds great on lower levels. You can do your bedroom practice on that with a killer tone. So that's an amp that really is always good for metal, especially for death metal and stuff like that, with a lot of gain. Final Frontier is great. Yeah, it's a great album. I love it. Let's see. Surfan, really enjoyed the channel. Thanks, man. What recording software do you use? I've been using Cubase for a long time now. I guess for about 15 years or so, probably. I'm now on the latest version, which is, let me check, Cubase 11 point something. And that is, it's my favorite DAW. I've been using it for so long, so it feels very comfortable to use. I know my way around it. There are still so many things that Cubase can do that I'm not aware of. But yeah, it's great. I love it. I love Cubase, and I highly recommend it. Now, if you're looking for something free, look into Reaper because that's supposed to be great as well. The band that I was in was Entwine. Entwine without the D. Yeah. All right, guys. So let me know if you guys have any questions. What's funny? Like, I've been playing my 9-string a lot, as I was talking about in some other previous videos, if you guys know. And what's funny is when you've played a 9-string guitar for a week and then you grab a 6-string and the neck feels so skinny, but still very comfortable. But it's really an odd sensation to go from 9 to 6. It's really funny. So yeah, that's something that I just found out. Louise, could you please update the Metallica pack for the new Fractal version? So he's talking about a preset pack that I made for the XFX2, the XL Plus version. I'm not planning on doing that. I'm sorry, because it takes so much time. But there were guys that have purchased the old pack, the AX8 version. which comes with the impulse responses, and then convert it with Fractal, and then you can get the same sounds basically. But I'm not planning on converting that back to the XFX3 or FM3. I'm sorry. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys one more thing about the 9 string. So I wrote a lot of music on this thing, like almost 10 minutes of music. So I'm going to release a video soon that's called 9+ minutes of 9 string music. And I hope you guys enjoy it. It's like a bunch of riffs, like 7 or 8 mini songs, some clean, some heavy and stuff. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. It's going to be interesting, at least, because 9 string guitars are weird. If you have any questions about the 9 string, let me know. I've really been enjoying that. All right, Claude Andre, what's your thoughts or approach about when you are on a budget, but you want to try gear? When you hesitate to swap, sell gear, or try something else? Well, usually when I want something and when there's no budget, I just trade something. And sometimes it takes a while, to get bait, if that makes sense. For example, like a little while ago, I had this one guitar, a really great guitar, the Schecter PT Apocalypse, which is like a Telecaster, and it was a great guitar. I made a video on it too, and I just didn't really use that guitar. And anytime that happens, I feel like, okay, I have to see if someone wants to trade this for a guitar that's more inspiring to me. So in this case, I was really lucky because I was looking for a 9 string guitar, and this very nice bloke wanted to trade his 9 string for my Schecter PT Apocalypse. So it took a little while until I found somebody, but trading is something that I really like. I've done it quite often with guitars and stuff, and yeah, trading is nice. That's basically what I do when I don't have budget for something new. Mr. Coatsworth, my favorite is probably also Power Slave. Yeah, love Power Slave. A Matter of Life and Death has been on repeat too lately. Yeah, man, I have to check that one out. I was listening to Book of Souls and The Final Frontier, like for quite a while, because I really wanted to get into those albums. And I'm going back in time basically. So A Matter of Life and Death is the next one. But the last 2 weeks or so, I've been really listening to Meshuggah a lot again. So Meshuggah have kind of taken over my music listening thingies. But I'm going to go back to Iron Maiden soon and then check out A Matter of Life and Death. All right. Question 2, and this might give away who I am on Facebook. Is there a big difference between Chinese V30 speakers in a cheap Harley Benton cab and in a bigger, more expensive Orange or engl cab? Okay, well, there are a bunch of different V30s. You've got the Chinese ones, the English ones. You've got like the 60-watt versions, the 70-watt versions. You've got the made in UK ones, the Chinese ones. You've got Chinese ones that are made for Marshall, or maybe the UK. Wait, Marshall, Miss Boogie, and Orange. Those V30s, I think those are all made in the UK. I'm not sure. But they make special versions for some brands as well, and those are different as well. So there are a bunch of different versions. You have to take that into account. But if you put those speakers, the same Chinese V30s, in a different cabinet, the sound will definitely change because the cabinet enclosure does make a huge difference for the tone. Not just the speaker, but also the enclosure. For example, I have an Orange 2x12, a PPC 212, which is a huge cabinet, very thick, very, very big. And then I have an engl 2x12 over here, which is a bit more compact, and it has like a metal grill. And both with V30s, but they sound quite different. So yeah, it will sound different. And if a cabinet uses good woods, it will resonate better and it will sound better, because the Harley Benton cabs, they're made of plywood. And I don't think that the cabinets themselves, I haven't tried one myself, but I wouldn't expect them to have a great sound, to be honest. However, if you are on a budget, it's not a bad option. So yeah, I hope this helps. Thanks for the question. And again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Luis, are you still fasting? I'm trying to lose weight too. Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I am. I do intermittent fasting, and I do that every day. I never eat breakfast, and then I eat lunch and dinner, and then in between lunch and dinner, sometimes a little snack or something. And sometimes in the evening, we'll have like a drink and a snack or something. But usually, I try to keep my food in between lunch and dinner. But for the past, let's see, 7 or 8 weeks, I've been doing keto again. So I've lost a little bit of weight, and that really helps for me. It's a really effective way of losing weight. Fasting alone isn't really the best way for me to lose weight. If I really want to lose weight, I need to do keto as well. So that's my secret, basically. Good luck on your weight loss journey. It's tough. I know it's tough. Since the day I've been back on carbs again, and I already am like, oh, I need more, which is bad. All right, Blends official. I would love to hear the 9 string through a recto with a tube screamer. Yeah, same here. That will happen one day soon. I promise, because that is basically like the coolest extended range guitar sound, perhaps, because Meshuggah also has done that with their 8 strings rectifier with a tube screamer and stuff like that. So I'm excited to try that soon. Glurb schnurb. What is the point of a 9 string? It's just, well, let me try to answer your question in a serious manner. It's just more. There's more range. There's an extra string, so you can go lower, and but you can still go high. Of course, you can tune your 7 string down, or you can tune your 6 string down, and that's fine. I mean, it's all personal preference. But when you have a 9 string, first of all, there is more range because your high strings are still intact, and you're just adding the low strings. However, uh, what my point is of a 9 string is that for me, it's like a very inspiring instrument to play because my old, I don't know how you say this, but my old sort of reference with guitars, which is basically 6 strings and also 7 strings, but let's say 6 strings, um, when you play them so often, there are certain things that you always do, certain chords and certain shapes and licks and whatever. But on this instrument, it feels so different for me still that it's like a blank slate or something. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's almost like just having a piano in front of you with all those notes, and you just sort of play and search, and then you discover music, and not through your preconceived ideas of what you can or should play on your guitar and stuff like that, but more, I don't know, it feels like a very free way of discovering new ideas, if I'm making sense. And then sometimes I go very low, and then I go up and I do some high stuff and maybe some nice chords, and then the low stuff again. So there's just a very big range, a very big range for expression. Anyway, I understand your question because 9 is a lot, and before I owned this 9 string, I was also like a little bit like, "Whoa, 9 is a lot." But still, I was really drawn to it. It was really an inspiring idea to me. Like 9 strings, what could I do with that? You know. But now that I have one, it already feels quite normal. It's like, yeah, it's my 9 string. It's not like it's my 9 string. It's quite normal. It's just a cool instrument to make music with. And I think that sometimes people can get a little bit, not saying that you are, but short-sighted when it comes to these types of instruments. I mean, who cares how many strings a guitar has? As long as you're having fun on it and as long as you're making cool music with it, then who cares? You know? So yeah, in my case, it's just really inspiring to me, and it makes me come up with cool new ideas. And if you don't believe me, that's fine. But check out my video that's coming out soon, the 9+ minutes of 9 string music. And maybe you'll get an idea of why I think that these things are fun and inspiring for me. But it's so personal. I mean, if you just want to play 6 strings, just 6 strings, that's also fine. There's no rules in music, man, or no rules in creativity. And you're saying Isn't low F sharp enough? Mashika plays in F, by the way. Nothing is the heaviest album, and I know that it was played on a down-tuned 7-string. Yeah, but they re-recorded it with their proper 8 strings, and I think that it sounds much better. Much better intonation, much better tone, because the 7 strings weren't built for those low tunings. Yeah. Patrick, hey, just popped in to say that my Mark IV sounds amazing. Gonna watch a movie with my girlfriend. Can't stay the whole stream. All right, I'm glad you're enjoying your Mark IV, man. Tell us more. Tell your girlfriend to wait. Just tell her to watch Sex and the City or something. Okay. Again, Mr. Coatsworth, I haven't watched all of your videos yet, so sorry if you've addressed this already. Are you only producing your own music, or are you also mixing other bands? Yes, I also mix other bands. I've done some albums for bands, and I'm going to do an album very soon for a band. So I do mix. I'm available for mixing and reamping and stuff like that. So if you're interested, just send me a message and see if you want to work with me. Cool. William, Harley Benton is pretty shitty. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they make some cool things. I have this cool pedal looper switcher on the floor here. I forgot the name. So they make some handy products like the power supplies and stuff like that. And maybe the guitars are nice for the low prices for beginners, and but the cabinets, yeah, I wouldn't expect a really great sound. Hey, thanks again for tuning in, everybody. I'm having a great time. I hope you guys are well. Drop some questions. I'll be here for a little while, so I'm here to answer anything you want to know, almost anything, not everything. And also, please drop a thumbs up and a comment and all the subscribes and all that good stuff, because that really helps out the channel. All right. Is there anything you guys really want to know? Ask me. Ask me. And also, what kind of movies are you guys watching recently? Any cool movies that I should check out? I should check out that Tomorrow War movie. So it looks like a cool movie. Anyway, Milsa666, Milsa666, Engl 212 Pro or EVH 212. For the EVH 5153. Well, interesting question, because I used to have an EVH 2x12. And the only amp that I thought sounded good with it was the 5153. And I haven't tried the 5153 through my Engl, to be honest. But I assume that it will sound pretty nice. But if you're just going to use an EVH, you can't go wrong with the EVH cabinets, to be honest. They're a great match, obviously. I hope that helps. William 3, I'm looking into an Engl 2x12, same to yours. Yeah, look on the used market. Thanks for your reply, and and once again, so much for my questions. Yeah, man, no worries. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, look into the Engl 2x12s in the used market, but look for one with the V30s, because the cheaper ones with the V60s, I guess they're fine too, but the pro cabinets with the V30s, those are the ones you want. All right, man. Luis, what do you think about the Quad Cortex? Great question. I haven't tried one myself. It seems like a cool device. I was on the waiting list for a little while there, but it took so long, and the waiting time got longer and longer, and then I just lost my interest, and I didn't want to have it anymore. So for now, I'm not really interested in it. However, the capturing thing is supposed to be quite good. Some people say that it's better than the Kemper. I used to have 2 Kempers, and the last time that I had my Kemper was a couple months ago, and I did a lot of profiles of my amplifiers, and some were close, but a lot of the profiles needed tweaking to get them to sound close. Kemper is not as close as people claim it to be, in my opinion. However, it really depends on the types of tones you're going for. I mean, if you're into very low gain, crunchy tones, then maybe it's more accurate overall than when you're trying all these different high gain amplifiers. Anyway, that was a long answer, but Quad Cortex seems awesome, but right now I'm not really interested in that, to be honest. Thanks for the question. Glurb Schnurb, good answer. I have a raccoon-sized hand, so I'll stick with my 7-string. The point of it getting easier to break out of patterns was an angle I haven't thought of. I suffer from this a lot. Yeah, man. But there's nothing wrong with the 7 string. You can always change the tuning or something. That's what some people like to do. They just change the tuning of their guitar, and then uh, that's also a way to break out of your pattern. That can help. Judo Koala. M80 M plus Invective 120 sounded killer. Yes, thanks. I agree. That sounded so good. I wanted to find an amp for my Meshuggah M80M 8-string guitar that would work well with that guitar because it was tuned down to E flat, and with the tuning so low, you basically need either a very tight amplifier or a good amplifier with a boost to tighten it up. But the Invective has a boost built in, so it turned out great. Thanks for the comment. William says, I used to have a 2x12-ish Fame 2x12 V30 cabinets. That's like the Harley Benton from Music Store, if I'm correct, which was pretty good, but I feel the new budget range from Toneman isn't that good anymore. Also with quite poor plywood constructions. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried a Harley Benton myself, but a lot of people are, oh, man. It's not you, it's me. I had a long day. Maybe it's the carbs kicking in. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had experience with a Harley Benton cabinet myself, like I said earlier. However, some people are raving about them because of the price and the V30. So, I don't know, but don't expect a very huge and roaring cabinet sound. I would not expect that. Judo Koala. Is it worth it getting a 6505 or 5150 120 watts? Or should I go for an MH if I'm only playing at home? That's a great question. If you're only playing at home, I would either get a 6505 MH, but in that case, keep in mind that the sound, it's not the most versatile amp. The cleans are kind of okay. The crunch tones are nice, but not like a Marshall, very cutting. It's more a little bit more a fat crunch tone, if I'm making sense. And high gain tone is great. It's very good for low levels. It has a reverb and a loop and stuff like that. So that's a great amp. The Invective MH is a bit more refined, and you've got the built-in boost and the gate, but it does sound a bit different. It's a bit brighter by default, and the clean channel is more clean with more headroom. I did a comparison on these two recently. Do check that out if you're interested in these amplifiers. However, I will say that the Invective 120 is a really versatile amplifier. And it also sounds great at low levels. It's not the loudest amplifier. My 6505 is louder. I wouldn't recommend a regular 6505 for playing at home necessarily. If you're just playing at home, just get the 6505 MH. But I think that the Invective 120 for such a big amplifier is great for playing at home because it works well on lower levels. Just make sure that the post gain controls on your channels are cranked up almost all the way at the least. But then still, the volume will still be quite manageable. And you can even turn it to 60 watts just to turn it down a little bit more. So if you're getting one of the big ones, I would suggest the Invective because the big 6505 is great. But if the 6505 MH will sound better at lower levels. Definitely. It's a great amp for lower levels. Maybe the best lunchbox amplifier for metal for lower levels. Maybe. I don't know. The engl amps are also great, but yeah, tough. Mr. Coatsworth, dude, watch Blade Runner 2049. Dude, I've seen that movie in the cinemas 4 freaking times, yo. I've got the 3D Blu-ray. I've got the Steelbook Blu-ray. I've got the 4K Blu-ray. I still need to watch the 4K Blu-ray, but that's one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, you're right. Everybody, watch Blade Runner 2049. Dave Hill, exactly. No rules in music. Whatever makes you happy, dude. You're so right. My Grandmeister 40, which is an old with an old JCM 1996 cab with Jimmy Marshall greenbacks for me is great. The Grandmeister 40 is awesome. It's a great amplifier. The Tube Meister Deluxe is also awesome, by the way. It's very different. Oh, very different. It's quite different in tone, funny enough. Ooh. Sorry for the yawning. Again, it's not you, it's me. My kids have been keeping me awake a little bit on previous nights. If you guys have kids, I'm sure you will understand. Okay, Mr. Coatsworth, what are some of your favorite distortion pedals, if any? Do you like fuzzes? Well, I'm not someone who uses distortion pedals very often, and I'm not sure if you mean a boost or like a distortion preamp-ish pedal. Let me know which one you want to know, because I have a favorite boost pedal, and I also have a couple of favorite preamp or distortion pedals. They're kind of different. So let me know which one. And yes, you've watched Blade Runner 2049 in theaters 5 times. You've beaten me. Really? Man, I thought 4 times was a lot, but it's the best movie ever. Oh my god. Oh, that's such a great movie. I love it so much. I need to watch it soon, but 3 hours of watching time is a long time when you have kids and need to work and all that stuff. So let me know about the distortion pedals, and I will answer your question. Seratus, thanks for doing this live. I enjoy the channel, but the audio is clipping a bit now. It's clipping again. That's really weird. Is this better? I'm gonna turn down my gain a little bit. Is the sound less clipped now? Let me know, guys. I just have it hooked up as I always have, so I don't know what's going on here. I hope it's not too clippy. Let me know. All right, gentleman, can you recommend what? No, is it no? Is it still clipping or is it still is it still clipping or is it not clipping anymore? Let me know. Gentleman, can you recommend that's weird. Well, in that case, I don't know if that's me or like the internet connection or YouTube, because my levels aren't really loud, to be honest. So I don't know what's happening there. I'm sorry for the clipping. I'm not sure what's causing that. Could be YouTube or something. I don't know. But I apologize. I have no control over that. Okay. Uh Gentleman, can you recommend Crunch Lab liquefier? Yeah, those are great. I have them in my PRS SE 27.7 baritone. They're like great pickups for that Petrucci tone, of course. Um, those are great pickups. However, in my baritone, they're quite bassy and scooped. So stick them in the right guitar because they're quite loud as well. So maybe they will work well in like a super strat, like a guitar that's not really fat with a lot of wood. But something like an Ibanez RG or something, I imagine that they work well in a guitar like that. I hope that helps. But I like them in my baritone, but they're a little bit too much in that guitar. I think that a set of Duncans or something would probably work a little bit better in that guitar. But yeah, it depends a lot on the guitar and the player and the amplifier, etc. William, do you know any good Belgian, Dutch, German second-hand sites aside from Tweedehands, Marktplaats? No, I'm sorry. Reverb. You can check Reverb. I bought some cool things on Reverb. Your PRS sounds so tight with them. Thanks. Yeah, I mean it sounds good when you get the right sound dialed in. So maybe think about it for your guitar. But I would not put them in something like a Les Paul or something. Do you know what I mean? Like because they're really, really pronounced. What kind of guitar are you looking to put your pickups in? Let us know. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the questiones. Glurb schnurb. My favorite drum is the Black Beast from Toman that costs 666 Norwegian kroner, 60 euros for a snare drum. That's cheap. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I'm glad that it costs 666 Norwegian kroner, the number of the beast, for it is a human number. Let's see. It's steel. It sounds as good as 10 times more expensive steel drums for metal. Wow, that's amazing, dude. That's amazing. Glurb schnurb, I'm sorry about the clipping. I have no clue what's going on there. I really have no clue. William, you're actually raving about a movie starring Ryan Gosling. Have you even seen the movie, dude? Harrison Ford is in it too. So yeah, man, go watch it. It's the best movie ever. Some people hate it though. My dad really hated it. He was like super bored, but I love that movie. Love it. Blends official. Oh, by the way, before I carry on, thanks so much for tuning in, guys, for the hangs on this Friday evening, this wonderful Friday evening here in Holland, wherever you guys are. Maybe you're in the USA, then it's afternoon, but thanks for hanging out. Keep the questions coming because I will be here for a little bit. Also, please drop a like, a subscribe, and a comment in the comment section, as that really helps out the channel. And check out my recent videos. I did a sort of reaction review video on the new Iron Maiden song, if you guys are interested. Maiden, yeah! And I also did a video on the M80M Sugar guitar in drop E flat through my Invective 120. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I have some cool other videos lined up soon, so keep your eye on the channel. And thanks again for all your support. All right, I'm going to continue. Blends official. If you use a cheap guitar with expensive pickups, does it make a huge difference in tone? If you use a cheap guitar with expensive pickups, well, I mean, it really depends on the guitar, because sometimes a cheap guitar will have good wood, and sometimes a cheap guitar will have very bad and dead sounding wood. If a guitar is nice and resonant sounding, whether it's expensive or cheap, that will make a difference. Uh, Pickups, expensive pickups will probably make the sound of a cheap guitar a bit better, because often cheap guitars have weak or thin sounding pickups or dull sounding pickups. So it will probably make a difference, but I think that the wood, so the overall tone of the guitar, also plays a huge part. That's my opinion. Not everybody agrees with me, but that's my opinion. For example, my PRS SC58, which is an expensive guitar, sounds great because the wood is really resonant and uh, uh, loud, and the wood is just, yeah, great. And then, like a couple of months ago, I ordered a PRS SE 245 because I was expecting great things, but the wood was dead sounding, and no great pickup would have fixed that. So I sent that guitar back. So yeah, hmm. It's not an easy question to answer, but I hope my answer helps somehow. Scott Johnstone. Hey, I wrote EVH to consider sending you whatever new amps they have. Did they reach out? Wow, thanks so much for doing that. I said earlier that sometimes that does help, but unfortunately, in this case, I haven't heard anything. I also sent them a message, and they told me to send a message to their artist folks from Fender, because EVH falls under Fender, and I never got a reply, unfortunately. So, but I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Hey guys, I have a sort of technical question for you guys, because my chat is broken, and I'm now looking at the chat in a window, a separate window, because in my browser the chat is always under the screen. This is not really relevant for now, but is there a button for a super chat under the chat window or not? Because I don't see one, and that's weird. Let me know if that's the case, because if there isn't a button for a super chat, then I'm going to have to look into that someday. Let me know. Just a technical question. Sorry about that. Just some maintenance. Okay. Mr. Coatsworth, I rarely use any pedals. I recently bought a Rat, which I enjoy. Man, I'd like to have a Rat. I don't have one, but it seems like a very cool pedal. And I'm thinking about getting some crazy fuzz, maybe Earthquaker devices or Black Art Stoneworks. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fuzz expert at all. I just know that this pedal is kicking my ass. Sunless Effects Coldlands. This guy makes some amazing pedals. So definitely check Sunless Effects out for some very cool pedals. All right, someone asks, no super chat option. That's so weird. It's so weird. It's just broken. It's broken. That's weird. Anyway, that's for the past three live streams or so. The super chat button has been absent, I don't know why that is. Anyway, I'm just going to continue. Judo Koala, do you still have the KM7? I have that guitar too. No, I don't. It was a very cool guitar, but it was one of those guitars that I just did not use very often, which tends to happen with Schecter guitars in my collection because as of right now, I do not own any Schecter at all. I traded it for my beloved ESP LTD NW44, the Neil Westphal Eclipse with the bare knuckle aftermath and the bridge, which is such an amazing guitar. Let me show you guys. Let me show you guys. So I traded my KM7 for this magnificent beast. This is such a killer guitar. And yeah, I'm really happy about that. So I talked about this earlier in the chat. The trading gear can, if you have enough patience, be great. It can be amazing. Because you might find something that works very well for you if you have patience and a little bit of luck. Bor, hey buddy, what's up? Hey buddy, thinking of getting a PRS SE baritone. Any advice for achieving a nice metal tones and great cleans on any pickups? Greeting from the UK, mate. Okay, so if you're getting a PRS SE baritone, those are great. I've had a couple. I have 3 right now. I have they're all made in Korea. I have a mic Mushok that's modded. I have the semi-hollow baritone with the P90s. And I also have like a standard 27.7 with the old logo, with the big SE logo, so not with the Paul Reed Smith signature. And those were all made in Korea, and those were all built very well. However, I just talked about this a couple minutes ago. A couple months ago, I ordered a PRS SE 245, sorry, and the wood on that one was really dead sounding. It was the one that was built in Indonesia, and I really disliked it. So if you get a new one, make sure that you try it in the store. But I recommend checking the used market first and look for one that was made in Korea because those have been amazing. And that one Indonesian PRS SE that I tried was really disappointing. So something to keep in mind and just keep your eyes open. Um, William says, I know, just being pedantic. I forgot what that means. I'm sorry. I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm an idiot. Uh, let's see. I'm just going to continue where I was. Hey, Ryan Gosling is a great actor, also great in Drive. Drive was okay. It was not my favorite movie, but he's a great actor, and the girls love him. My girlfriend loves him, but she still does not want to watch Blade Runner 2049. What's wrong, people? How do I convince her? Maybe she'll hate the movie, though. I love it. Scott Johnstone, I live in Trinidad in the Caribbean. Awesome. Awesome. I hope you're having a great day there. Gentleman says Charvel to Plantier White with Seymour Duncan design are quite queasy. I think of Crunch Lab and Liquefier because of the sounds in your vids. Undefined. Okay. Okay. Um, defined. Well, the Seymour Duncan JB is a very defined pickup. I love that pickup for great definition. The bare knuckle aftermath also has great definition in a different way though. Sometimes the Fishman moderns also have great definition, but yeah, I know what you mean. Definition is important. Yes. Let's see. Queasy undefined. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I hope that kind of helps. Glurb which passive pickup would you put in a Les Paul bridge position as an all-round metal workhorse? Considering a JB as Seymour Duncan JB2, which I loved back in the day in my Jackson. JBs are awesome, very pronounced. It can be great for metal. It's a little bit more of a rock pickup. I'm not saying that it can't do metal, but for my taste in the guitars that I have them in, they have a very pronounced and clear sound, which is great. But for metal, I would sooner put in a bare knuckle aftermath. But for a Les Paul, a JB, you can't really go wrong with a JB in a Les Paul. I think can't go wrong with that. So it's a very solid choice, and they're not really expensive. So just try it, and if it sucks, put in something else. Hope that helps. Uh, it all is very dependent on personal taste, of course. So keep that in mind. William is saying, I bought an Ivory and a 7 string and put Simrananka, Neskel, and Sentient. It sounds pretty sick. Depends on the wood and the construction. Yeah, the wood and the construction of guitar is super important. And people who say that it doesn't matter, they're wrong, man. They're wrong. Okay, let's see. Um, let's see. No super chat option. Yeah, I'm it's so weird, man. Okay. Malone. Have you tried the Engl Savage 120 Mark II? I think it's the best Engl amp. I have not tried that amplifier. I know that a lot of Engl amps, or not a lot, but some of the Engl amps are like very tight and fierce, great for metal, and I think that the Savage is one of those. For me, the Engl Iron Ball is that the one I have one up here somewhere. The Engl Iron Ball, the little one, that's a really tight and defined and aggressive amplifier. And I'm imagining that the Savage 120 is similar, fierce and tight. I'd love to try one, but I really love the Fireball 100 as it's tight and it's aggressive and all that stuff, but it's still also uh sort of fat. It's also good for rock. It's not just a metal amplifier. And my dream angle actually is a Powerball 2. I'm releasing a video soon about my favorite amps that I don't own yet. So it's kind of a wish list, dream amp list. And the Powerball, the Angle Powerball, is on that list. Mr. Coatsworth, I have a Duncan design pickup based on the JB model, and it sounds great. Yeah, the JB, you can't really go wrong with the JB. You can check out my one riff 41 amps video, because in that video I use my Eclipse 1 with a JB in the bridge position through 41 amplifiers, and that should give you an idea of how that pickup sounds in a Les Paul-ish model. Having said that, it's a sort of skinny and ergonomic version of Les Paul. My Gibson Les Paul has more weight and more wood, and that does sound a bit more dense and thick. So in that ESP Eclipse, it sounds a little bit on the skinny side, perhaps, which is a great thing. But I prefer the really fat tone. So if you have a really heavy and fat Les Paul, I think a JB will sound great in that. Gentlemen, do you still use the Black Country Customs steel park in your new videos? That is my favorite overdrive boost pedal, to be honest. It's so great. It's like a tube screamer. I have it somewhere. It's like a sorry. It's like a tube screamer, but with a bunch more options. It has 3 voicings, so you can change the voicing of the pedal. So it's basically 3 pedals in one. It has a gain and a level control, of course, but what I really like about it, it's very simple, but it's the fact that it has a treble and a bass control. So if you want your guitar to sound more fierce and more cutting, boost the treble. If you want to make your guitar sound more tight with a less muddy low end, you turn down the bass, and so forth. So that's why I really love that pedal. It sounds absolutely great. So I really recommend the Black Country Customs Steel Park. And if I use boosts, which I don't really do often, then I usually go for the Laney Steel Park. Yes. Aaron Morgan, are you going to replace the EMG 909s with 909Xs or Fishmans? Could be fun. Right now, I have no immediate plans for that. I did contact EMG to see if they would be willing to work with me on something, like send me a 909X for a comparison video or something. But I did not receive a message back. So I'm not thinking that that will happen anytime soon. It would be fun, so I would be open to it. But the 909s sound fine, so it's not like I need another pickup. And I'm not going to try Fishmans in that guitar, no, because I don't know how to install Fishmans at all. Glurp Schnurp, someone should make a business of swapping E2 logos with ESP. I love my Horizon 2 baritone, but I wanted the ESP logo since I discovered Metallica, and now you have to pay 4,000 plus for it. Yeah, I know. I don't care about the name and the logos, but I can see why E2 is a bit of a lame name. LTD is better than E2, in my opinion. The Nice Guys was an enjoyable movie. I haven't seen that one with Ryan Gosling. I still have to watch the full Blade Runner one, though. Dude, what are you doing here? Go watch that movie. You have a long night ahead of you, dude. Have you owned Blends Official? Have you owned an EC 1000 with active pickups? I have. I'll show you. I will show you. Let's see. This is my EC 1000T full thickness Eclipse with an EMG 57 in the bridge and an EMG 66 in the neck. And it's a great guitar. It's a chunky sounding guitar, but it does not have a maple cap, if I'm correct. I'm not entirely sure on that, but it's not the most sparkly and bright sounding Les Paul. But I love it. It's a very thick and chunky sounding guitar, as I said, and yeah, it works great for metal and stuff like that. Could be cool to put some passives in here one day, though. I think that a JB would work very well in this guitar, actually, because of the fact that it's a bit warm and chunky sounding. But for now, these EMGs will do just fine. Yeah, it's a great guitar. Love it. I need to hang this up on my wall again. And I also need to feature this guitar in videos more often because it's a great guitar. All right. Let's see. Engl is in German. It's a silent G. Engl. I'm surprised of your pronunciation. Well, you know why that is? Because a lot of English and American people on the YouTubes they say angle, and that's just why I decided to say it like that. Because in Holland, I also say engel, engel. That's how we pronounce it in Holland. Because I'm Dutch. But sometimes on the internet, I just pronounce those things a little bit differently because that's how people say it in English and American and blah 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 blah. Sometimes I get in trouble on my channel because I pronounce things in the English way instead of the American way, which is also quite amusing. Okay, guys, I'm going to stick here a couple of minutes. If you have any more questions, drop them now because I'm going to leave in a couple of minutes. Again, thanks for tuning in and thanks for the hangs. I'm really enjoying these live streams. Blurb Schnurb, thanks for the answer. What do you think about the SD Black Winters? I haven't tried the Black Winters, but I had a guitar, two guitars with the Nazguls. The Nazguls are quite good, but they're like really pronounced. They're really aggressive, and that's really hard to dial out. If you're looking for a guitar that sounds really angry and aggressive, definitely check out the Nazguls. They're great for that, but they're not great for anything other than metal, in my opinion. And they're super pronounced, super aggressive and mean. So they're great for that. They're not really old school sounding, and I'm not really a connoisseur of black metal, so I'm not the best person to answer that question in that regard. But the Nazguls are great, but again, they have a very certain sound, and if you don't like that sound, maybe they're not for you. If you're interested in hearing those pickups on my channel, check out my videos with the Schecter KM6 and or KM7, and you will hear why I'm saying that these pickups sound super aggressive. I think I've heard that the Black Winters are a little bit more, let's say, versatile sounding, but I'm not sure. Bor, do you use any compression effects for clean guitars? Well, usually not really, but on the 9 string video that I have coming out soon, the 9+ minutes of 9 string music, I'm actually using a compressor on the clean guitar. And what I usually like to do in Helix Native, because on real amplifiers I don't really use compression, but when I use Helix Native on in my DAW, I use the red compressor. I forgot the exact name, and then I put the mix to about 40% or so. So I blend it in basically to keep the normal dynamics of the clean guitar in, and then add that compression. Let's see. LTD is leagues better. Yes, I think so. I agree with you. Thanks for your comment on my English. I appreciate it. I'm doing more videos now, and I'm really trying to work on my English. There are some words that are really hard to pronounce for me, or sometimes sequences of words. So I'm trying to work on that, but it's really hard to change my accent on some various words. But just working on that. One more question I see. Do you create your own drums? Well, what I do usually is I make a preset in Steven Slate Drums 5.5, and then I mix them, and then I program them by hand with my mouse. And I'm gonna do a video on that soon, sometime soon, to show you guys how I program my drums. I have done a video on a mix like a year or two or ago or so, if you're interested in that. But the actual programming, I still have to do a video on that. William says the Nazguls are good for extreme metal. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, JB is much more versatile indeed. And Glurb Schnurb, I love your name by the way. E2 is just a weird name to say. It looks weird aesthetically. I agree. I would never have guessed you were Dutch. Thank you. And I have been to Netherlands a bunch of times. Thank you. I'm my father is English. So actually, I'm half British, but I'm trying not to talk British. I never do that, to be honest. Yeah, but I'm doing my best to speak English as best I can. So I'm glad that I'm doing a little bit of a good job at least. But it's really hard for me to pronounce certain words. Blend's official collab with Luis Torres. He's a great YouTuber. I like him. Who knows? I've never done a collab before. Actually, I've never done one. I'm a loner. But I may be open to collabs and stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to end this live stream. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks for the questions. And thanks for all the support. And yeah, I really appreciate it. I'm a bit tired. I'm looking forward to closing my eyes and sleeping. I hope to get a good night. I hope you guys will get a good night as well. Stay tuned for a lot of awesome videos that are coming out soon. And yeah, just have a great night, have a great weekend, and play a lot of guitar and disturb your neighbors, but don't disturb them too much because you need to have a good relationship with your neighbors. All right, guys, tot ziens, trusten, slaap lekker, guys, and thanks for tuning in. See you guys soon. Thank you.